global mobility to the business is an enabler. Global mobility allows for businesses to have their people where they need them at every moment in time, which is why it allows for global mobility to move around. Global mobility. It is a partner to the business. But it's also sometimes a roadblock. And the reason why I'm saying this is because although yes, we as global mobility professionals enable the business to move the people where they need them, not every time can we move them at the fast pace that they need them to be. Global mobility, we are a roadblock as well because we have to be mindful of global mobility obligations. Like every regulation, we need to be always on top of that. So if something changes, we always need to be telling the business. And so not every single time can we move as fast as they want us to be moving. But that being said, we are, I want to say, the gatekeepers of their compliance.
So business global mobility is sourcing of position, talent sourcing, and also basically also filling business requirements and moving people from A to B, or moving the position to the employee, which we actually see with remote work.
So in terms of the business, it really depends on the maturity level of the organisation and its global presence. So for a mature organisation, global mobility is a key player in making sure that the governance and compliance aspects of their international footprint are in check. From probably a more immature organisation, they probably seem a little bit more as an inhibitor, and the education piece is really key in that role and in that model. But I think overall, COVID, so 2020 and the pandemic itself has really proven to heighten the appreciation for global mobility and the practice. And I think organisations now, whether they're mature in their models or whether they're immature in their models, I think they now have a greater appreciation of the span and depth of capability within the global mobility practice, because it is quite a widespread discipline, and you really need to be a well-rounded practitioner to be able to advise on a multiple level of subject matter, whilst also being able to provide that service delivery in a reasonable amount of time, because there's certainly some, and we saw this with COVID, you know, the legislation and the pandemic in itself moved so quickly that we really needed to be moving at the speed of light almost to keep up with the demands of the business and the needs to move people either in or out of the locations that we are.
I would just put it as simple as global mobility is literally moving people from one country, from one location to another. And then the global mobility team, really what the role is to assist not only that employee, but the business. So like the managers, what are the business needs? Why do we need this individual to come from India to the United States? What are the business needs? Is it a short-term assignment, or is it a long-term, or is it permanent? So really kind of seeing what those needs are, and really, and then assisting the employee with the relocation package. What does that consist of? Because that's a huge change, not just for the employee, but if they have a spouse, if they have children, what will that process look like for them? So really, I think that's what what global mobility does. It's not just looking at the business, but then also that individual and what their needs are.
When I have to explain global mobility to people, I like to start by saying I'm in the business of moving people, and then expand, on the fact that we are an industry that really helps and supports with a really big, important transition in people's lives when they're moving, whether domestically or internationally, with all aspects of that move, whether it be immigration-related needs or the physical relocating of things and people, and then, of course, the complexities that come along with anything related to tax and moving across different types of country or state lines.
Global mobility, to me, is the heart of the business enabler. Mobility function enable business to put people where they need to be, when they need to be, for the people that has the skill set the business needs. So without the mobility function, small or large, international versus domestic, it really doesn't matter. But it's without that function, the business really wouldn't succeed.
So when I think of global mobility, I think of getting the right people in the right places at the right time. And ultimately, global mobility should be used as a talent strategy to attract and retain diverse talent. So while mobility professionals definitely are the gatekeepers and coordinate a lot of the logistics and make sure that we're staying compliant with immigration and tax and things like that, we're also a strategic partner. So we basically advise and counsel and educate businesses and come up with creative solutions to help businesses manage and meet their goals. And we also empower employees. And the mobility program is empowering employees to advance their career. You will find that in a lot of global companies, global mobility opportunities is important for employees as it relates to their career advancement and growth.
Global mobility is a lot of things, but at the core, it's moving people from one country to the other and helping them grow, whether it's in their careers or as a person experiencing a whole other culture, and growing professionally and personally.
So recently, over in Micron, we have actually done a survey with the business leader to actually understand what does global mobility mean to them and whether are we really supporting the business strategy. So I would say that the survey that we received is very interesting because they are actually considering mobility as a critical function in supporting them to fill their talent gap, to support them to actually relocate team members for specific training or to support in various projects. And also right now, I would say that they are also using mobility in attracting and also retaining talent.
Global mobility to business.
Global mobility to the business is vital. For a business that thrives on hiring and maintaining talent around the world, global mobility is a very, very vital function to the organization. Global mobility ensures and helps talent, place talent where they need to be, so that they can do the job that they need to do to ensure company success. So to the business, it's an extremely vital function.
And what is global mobility to the employee?